Welcome back to A.S.M Sekai, where three weeps come together, but today there's only two. And we're going to be
As
discussing all
usual.
things, as usual, we're going to be discussing all things anime, shows, manga, movies, but today we are going to be talking about that very special show that brought us all together. Last of Us full final is done, all 9 episodes. We're going to be discussing that. So every week we dive deep into the latest trend, the latest hottest topic show, and this is The Last of Us. So we'll all be sharing our thoughts, what we thought about it. Is it a must watch? Moto is going to give his rating because we're a very firm believer of Moto's ratings over here. We're passionate about this show. We're passionate about our channel. We're going to grow with you. Come on in. Get ready to dive deep down. And with that, Moto, I'm going to start off with what we were discussing before we started this. Comparing episode 3 and 7, which would be the woke episodes of Last of Us, which would be the filler episodes. One was Bill and Frank, which was episode 3, and one was episode 7. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is how it got received by viewers. I felt the episodes were very, very similar in the sense where love is beautiful, even in this chaotic world you can find love. In this sense, one had a happier ending with a hopeful message. The other one did not, and it was more of a character setting tone type of thing. Her first love also ended up being her first kill. Spoiler alert for whoever has not watched it, that's on you, not on me. But the reason why I bring this up, Moto, is why was something gay? It was perceived, gay, two men and stuff. Why was it more drawn and visually presented as a art piece where you see two men so deeply in love and you made this whole romantic gesture and stuff? And I felt like they made the lesbian scene very quick, rushed, and not yet complete like that. Yet both are fillers, but I feel like I like 7 more because there's a connection more towards Ellie. Bill and Frank have no shit to do except that little small piece. So why was such a more beautiful moment given to Bill and Frank than Riley and Ellie when they basically are the pivotal point of the Last of Us Season 1, Last of Us Game 2, whatever you want to call it. So I found the way the viewers received both these episodes showing that people will pick and choose their sides depending on how woke they are. But I personally thought number 7, which was Riley and Ellie, was much better, but I think the directors and everybody did a poor job focusing and sending the right message that could stick with the viewer like they did with episode 3. That's my only thing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't even consider it filler. Filler is something that's completely outside of the main storyline. So both of them, I think it's part of the storyline. I mean, the source material is gaming content, so it's kind of hard to say. But I think what the difference between the third and seventh, and I like the third one like way more. So I consider the third one probably the top 2 episodes of the season, and that's because he actually told the story.
Top
Top
two.
2. Yeah, it's not even debatable. Other ones, like 7 would have been 10 times better had there been a closure. Like it left you hanging. Like I don't understand why they did that, because like again, it's the rewarding how the show sets up and how do you reward it as the end goes. And the why episode 3 was so effective was the reward happened at the very beginning and it actually concluded at the end. So it actually told a very good story within the scope. Now, I think episode 7 had a higher potential than episode 3, but it didn't have either the theme or closure that it needed. Right? It kind of skipped all of that.
I felt like the theme was more of Ellie trying not to be that person that runs away again. Because I think she always felt like she ran away and she missed out on having that beautiful death that Frank and Bill got that originally Ellie and Riley planned to get. They were planning to turn together. So it's the same exact thing. So they were planning basically...
No, I actually wouldn't even go same exact thing, right? So one of the thing like we always do, we try to come up with questions to ask relative to a very deep question. We try to get to the deep questions, right, for each episode. Episode three was actually pretty easy, which is one. Bill is the one that represented survival, like how to survive. It's very important. Whereas Frank represents how to live, which is another important factor,
Okay.
right? And we actually had a question about those two, like which one are you, which one do you have, and you need both of those to kind of, you know, to really, live or in a survival dystopia, you need both, right?
Yeah.
Like you need the ability to survive, you need the ability to live. I'm not sure what the theme was. Episode seven was like.
Discovery.
I mean, like, yeah, and then
They
but
were
there's no
living.
concept.
The whole thing was Riley basically going this rebellious way, trying to find a purpose. She didn't want to basically be another servant working for the government. She wanted her own freedom, so she went to find a way. Ellie, being her best
Right,
friend, being the only companion, being the only person that actually understood her, Riley wanted to show Ellie at the time of her life. She planned this whole thing, took her to the mall, found everything, knew how to turn on the light, like this magical moment. Somebody she cares very deeply about, somebody that never had excitement in her life. She's showing that, hey, this look, it's like a, in a sense, in a first date or something romantic gesture, or even a humble genuine thing you're doing for somebody you deeply care about. I mean, they're kids, they're not like as smart or mature, in a sense, mature as Bill and Frank, who are much more older and much wiser than kids, because yes, Ellie and Riley are kids. So
right,
when you're thinking from an adult and kids perspective, yes, you're gonna basically choose towards the maturity because that's already established. Wisdom's there, and even though they can make mistakes, it's less likely than what they did. They basically forgot all their surroundings, made music happen. They didn't think with their head, they thought with their heart. And that's why they basically at the end had the downfall and one person dying and Ellie basically finding out the hard way that she's a cure.
right. But again, it doesn't really close that storyline, right?
Doesn't.
The
Yeah.
storyline did
That I
close
agree
on
with.
the final,
I agree
right?
with that.
It closed in the finale in a conversation that lasted about 2 minutes, where again for me, you hinted in there was an emotional scene in episode four where Joel's like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have to have shot, that kid, right? It was this emotional point, and it's something where we started to see this fatherly figure of Joel,
Yeah.
right? And then we get hinted about, oh no, that wasn't my first kill, and it reminded her of the kill that she did,
Yeah.
right? So I think you heard me talk about this before episode seven. I think like, oh, we're gonna finally see the cause her real trauma, right? It wasn't that shooting that kid was the trauma. It's what reminded her of what happened with her and Riley, which has already been mentioned. So I felt like it kind of ended on a cliffhanger, versus again, and comparing the time frame, right? Like again, the episode three was hour and a half, episode seven was hour. There was nothing that stopped them from going further. And to be honest, like
Forget
the
that.
last.
Episode 3 was an hour and a half, and we got the finales for 46 minutes.
Right, exactly. And the finale could have again shown that because I feel like it's such a critical, vital character development moment for her to actually shoot Riley. And it kind of supports her like gun obsession a little bit more because I mean she was gun obsessed before even that incident, but like her wanting the weapon to, I guess, protect the people she cares about, to fight for the people she cares about, like all those things, I think weighs even bigger. Had we seen that moment, it would have been brutal moment. But for some reason, we've seen brutal moment throughout the season. Like you got the kiss scene, which was disturbing. Sarah from episode one, that was devastating. Episode three, Bill and Frank's emotional closing. Episode five to the suicide death, and all of a sudden, the last three episodes, like I didn't care about any of them. Like I just none of the death were like I don't care like as much, right? Like it wasn't like Martin was like okay, like when Joe shot her, I was like, I don't care, whatever.
So,
like
I was talking to one of my friends, and he before the finale even came out, I was telling him, and he's like, "Yo, the show is great and stuff." And all I said is, "I am I'm disappointed for you, not for me, because I know what the game is, and I'm very, 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 very happy, and the game is much, 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 much better than this, and the many, many reasons is you need to experience the fear factor this world has to give you. I
Yeah,
haven't felt
yeah,
that in this world one bit. One episode, maybe two. Give it episode two when they were in the museum or the library and they were clickers around.
yeah,
Perfect. That reminded me to the T of the game. In the first two episodes, to me,
yeah,
perfect. Because they
yeah,
followed the game step by step. You have the source material. What made you want to do this? And you were doing it right. Episode 3, they deviated. They basically went with their own version, the filler. Bill and Frank's story does not happen like that, not even anywhere close like that in the game. They give a wonderful story. Whatever the viewers, there's half good, like half people love it, half people hate it, that's fine. Episode 4, gamers had a very controversial take. Why? Because the scene that happens with the humans by Fedra area is supposed to be many, many, many more people, and we're supposed to see savage, ruthless Joel right there. That's the first
yeah.
indication. That was when Joel in the game, especially, kills everybody. And when I mean everybody, everybody, a lot of people. It was not like
All right.
four people. That was very, very disappointing. And he goes, and there's
Yeah, it
so
was
many
like three
moments.
people.
There's so many moments where you see Joel navigating through abandoned, broken buildings and stuff, houses, finding stuff, killing people, slowly maneuvering like a fucking assassin. Like, I'm telling you, they did not do Joel the justice he is actually in the game. Like, if you saw that one and then you saw his heart melting, you're like, holy shit. It's like you see this powerful alpha male being so empathetic. It's so freaking genuine to a human life. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, you can relate to that emotionally. So we missed out on that bigly. We missed on it very big, and it could have been better. I was still fine with it. Episode 5 was beautiful. Episode 5 is when I thought it was okay. We made up for lost ground. I will take that loss of not seeing Ruthless Joel, but you gave me World War Z, epic zombies, that bloater that was like Superman right there, just coming out and just being monstrous. And then I felt they just forgot that they were living in a world full of zombies.
Yeah, it felt very peaceful, right? Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of laughed when Molly's like, "I don't know how you did it." What do you mean? It was peaceful as fuck. All he had to do was dodge Kansas City, and he'd have been fucking peace walk the whole way through. Like, what's the fear? Like,
Ep-
I don't get it. Like,
episode
why would it be
6
in
we
distant?
episode 6 we wake up with Ellie going like, I watched it, I know what to do. What are you watching from? What are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
yo,
like
in the first game she learns how to use a bow.
yeah, that's another thing. Like, one of the things I always love, like, I love seeing world building, right, and how people would adapt. Like, just the fact that you just have sniper rifle and then all that when you have a monster that is noise based, plant based. Like, again, where's the Molotov cocktail? Like, where's the arrows that connect with Molotov cocktail? Like, those things makes perfect sense because it doesn't create a lot of noise, and you could burn it down. And yeah, it's just like it after
Let me tell
episode
you the
five, it
giving.
just feels like it's a different show, right? Like again, it just missing again. The whole David thing is terrifying, and it's a great part, but then I feel like episode 9 does the same thing where it's again people's the bad, like which I'm okay with. It's more interesting that way, anyways. But at the same time, I would love to see at least more often where Joel is teaching Ellie how to survive this world that Marlene kind of highlighted. Like, I lost all my people. And it's like, I don't see that. If you own a fucking cruiser, know all the location to refill gas or whatever, like, why would you have problem in this world? I just don't see it. So I think that's kind of like my like initial reaction on episode 9. Like I was like,
But that was also my take. Remember when we were having a discussion? I was like,
yeah,
I don't feel any fear in this. Like when I was playing this game, and this is why, and I could say it, and I can basically tell things about the game because it's done. So in the game, when you're maneuvering to buildings and there's clickers, what we used to do is, especially Joel or whoever, you're paying 99%, 90% as Joel, 10% as Ellie. And when you're Joel, you basically used to pick up a brick or a glass bottle and throw it because the clickers can hear the sound. Make a move. Joel used to make his own shifts. He used to find things, wrap it around. Like there was no showing of the limitation of the resources, and you had to
right.
basically craft your own shit. Make your own like nail bombs. Like he used to pack that stuff and then make smoke bombs and stuff. Like go in the back, like kill clickers from the back and stuff, like assassin shit. Like, bro, there were so many moments in the game where you do that. Like, it just like I was watching the show and going like, I understand what you're trying to do, but you're not doing the game justice. You're not giving the viewers the beauty and the magic of this game.
Yeah, I mean, it just again like at the last half of it, and that's my thing. Last half, they decided to go like remember episode 6, right?
Yeah.
They go into like old cabin. It was two old lovely couple, right? And it was like for 10 minutes
Yes.
you're in there. Like,
Yes.
what was the point of that? Like, what's like, why couldn't that be like a whole a clickers in the forest where like, again, like show
They
me like intelligent like
they didn't explain shit, and why were they surviving so peacefully?
yeah, and then they're like, oh, you don't cross the river because it's so dangerous. You're like, okay, here we go. You know, we just had episode 5, right? So like we like, all right, here we go. Nothing. He
Nothing
meets
happened.
his brother. Beautiful place.
No,
Why the
no, no,
fuck
no,
did
no,
they
no.
leave?
We got to see the camera crew.
Yeah, the issue there. Yeah, so I don't know what happened because episode 1 was that terrifying beginning, right? That was terrifying beginning,
Episode one
right?
was so good,
And
so good.
yeah, and even episode 2, the introduction clicker in the slow pace,
Tess dying.
you know, yeah,
Tess dying
like
was awesome.
yeah, Test Dying and the creepy ass like in the introduction of this whole like I heard from the game difference is the underground test, whatever you call
The
that.
hive,
I thought that, yeah, the hype thing, I thought it was fantastic, but
awesome.
like, and then you got the 3 with the complete changing pace, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then 4, we got into Kansas City, and okay, now we deal with problematic people. Okay, that's cool. And 5 was kind of mix of both. You get the people and the broader introduction. I was like, "Fuck yeah, here we go!" Just getting intense as fuck. Like I can't wait for Ellie and Joel to come together and kill a bloater, and then fuck up some like filler or whatever. And then episode 6 happened. Not much. It was, bonding moment, but they could have bonded killing crickets or whatever.
One,
7,
in the game,
flash.
there's a whole shootout.
Yeah, I would think so, right? Like you gotta create this world that is, hard to survive, and you gotta teach Ellie how to do that, right? She like episode 1 said, "Holy shit, I'm outside the wall." Right? She doesn't know how to live in this world, but there's nothing that shows that she had that survival thing. And 7 was a flashback, and this remember before episode 7, I was like, oh, I'm hoping to see this like Godfather 2 kind of approach where you get a mix of flashback and then the current situation where she's going to mix. And I thought it was going to close out with Ellie shooting her at that time with she's like trying to survive in the winter because she's working her ass off for the person she lost, and you could see the survival fighting clickers and whatever at by herself there. No, we don't get any of that, and we don't even get the closure of Ellie there. And then yeah, just I just felt like something happened after episode 5. It just dropped off for me quite fast.
They were like, let's give people a zombie shows, and then we take away the zombies, and then just give them a show, make them appreciate us.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I just it's still great. Like the emotional like human part of it was all fantastic, but I didn't understand why there's no clicker. Why Joel wouldn't like
you want me to give you my
John?
overall thoughts and ratings?
What's your rating? I'm curious what your rating is.
I give it a 8,
Yeah,
8.5
no, for the whole season.
for the whole season.
I I
Because I told
I
you this from the
actually
beginning. I said the last episode will help me decide the show. And I'm really, the last episode, too short, Too short, too short, too short, too short, and it was rushed. That I understand. Joel killed a lot of people. It did not feel satisfying.
No,
It was just like okay, dope moment. He's doing this all for his baby girl. He's basically doing what every single father should do, but it felt forced.
yeah, because like, uh, and I saw the game clip too, which is I think it's pretty close to the same thing. The difference for
It's
the
creepier.
game,
Game is creepier. You could feel the creaking of the hospital
well,
broken.
because you're playing through the whole thing. Like it's a lot more time because you're kind of trying to go through the whole thing versus just watching him just killing those. Like the kill scene that he did in episode 8 was better with the two tortured guys, right? It was more personal. This one was just kind of just shooting it. It wasn't really that personal. And quite frankly, like there's a lot of people discussing like the moral dilemma of what they're saying. I'm like, fuck no, there's
What do
no
you
moral
mean?
dilemma.
What more of them?
People saying like that Joel chose like Ellie over Cure, and I'm like, what Cure? that
No,
that
that's fine. That's a fine take. That should be also a take. I understand
it
that.
should be a take,
It
but
should.
it needs to justify that clearly. If
No,
you're
no,
going
no,
to
no.
tell me any,
Okay, no, I see that take. I understand that take, and I played this game, and I've heard this take many, many, many times. And this is
right?
why I love Aaron Yeager. Same exact reason, because of Joel. There's nothing, and as somebody who loves and cares and who has lost, there isn't anything in the world you wouldn't do to save, protect that person, because nobody else
So
matters. Nobody else
so
matters.
here's my issue with that comparison with the Aaron. Like Aaron's action are based off the fact that there was no other option. Like nobody has presented him with no other option, right? Versus, and he's much more extreme, by the way. But the problem with the whole Joel thing for me was like, they say they have a cure. They think they have a cure. It's a fucking brain surgery in a hospital that is pretty much destroyed. There's no way to control. First of all, if you have one person immune, like the first thing shouldn't be, oh, let's kill her. Like what?
Well, they weren't trying to kill her, but they were trying to, like, the whole theory of how the bacteria is in her brain and stuff, and you could basically take it out. Okay, it's a 50-50 chance. The chance of her dying may be a little higher, but at the same
No,
time,
she said they're gonna. They said
no, no,
that
no.
she's
Okay,
going
yeah.
to die.
I'm talking about her dying without a cause. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. The
Yeah,
50-50 chance is like no matter 100% chance she dies.
right.
50% chance that a cure is found, and 50% chance this was bullshit. Which
No,
is
it's even if let's just think of this like in a realistic term, right? Even if what they say is true and factual, a whole brain surgery in itself will give you a best 50-50, right? Like even if they have like evidence, but they don't even have the evidence. From what we know from the story is this:
but
she got
that's
infected.
science though.
No, huh?
But that's science
Huh?
though. Science. No, no, but no, no. In a
No,
thing like
that's
that,
not science.
in
No,
okay,
no,
in
no,
a
no. That is not
post
even close to being science, bro.
in
Like
a
that is not close to being science.
post apocalyptic world,
Well, that's the point. So this is
there's no
supposed to be this whole
rules.
dilemma,
There's
but
no
this whole
rules.
dilemma is supposed, yeah. So it's not science. It's just dictatorship and assumption. Like you look, firefight looks like a delusional people assuming this is going to work.
That's every cult and every organization.
Yeah, in the cold. Yeah, yeah. But at least if it's scientific, right? There's studies, right? Right. There's hypothesis and it's staged level by level, right? It goes straight from, oh, I found you after a bite. We had you locked up in a room, which Joel took over, but somehow you're doing a surgery already to remove something from your brain. Like it's like bullshit. That's not the first thing that any intelligent person would do. They would stop and be like, okay, we have this immune person. Let's take it slow. Let's see what we could do. First of all, I would pull off like the whole what's her name in Attack of Titan, where she gets knocked up.
Historia.
His story, yeah. I would do the same thing first. Like, why would you kill her? Like, why would you kill her? Like, how do you know that one per? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm agreeing with you from a logistic point of view where you really cannot just base off something think it's going to be acceptable. But let's just say you were on the other side. You were with the Fireflies. You were with Marley. You were with the whole world, and you're living in this chaotic world. And you're not Joel, and you're not Ellie. You're basically a normal person, and you are
Hmm.
praying every single day, God or to whomever or whatever, hey, help, fix this, find us a cure, find us a cure, find us a cure, find us a cure. And then now
Hmm.
you have this thing that is 50% chance. Forget
Well,
50.
well,
Forget
yeah,
50. You know, should I
yeah,
forget 50? 10%.
yeah. Not even 10%, to
No,
be honest.
I'm
Like
just giving you.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's go five.
So
Let's go even go five.
yeah, I'll answer your
You're
question.
that
Right?
desperate to say yes.
No, I would not say yes at all. Because first of all, again, why would the first step to just take it and remove it out of her system? Like
Because that's
again,
where basically the it's going, and
no,
that's
but
how
I'm
he's
saying
controlling everybody.
her surviving and potentially building a family might be even better option, right? Like
Like the
how do you
Adam
know
and
that
Eve
she?
shit.
No, that she could pass on the whole immunity. Like how do we not know? Like that. Like it's like jumping straight to let's kill her, and that one immune person that we have, there's no blood work. Where's the blood work? Maybe she does slow it down. Like there's so many other things that potentially could come out of this. Like literally just studying that you could understand. Right. What caused her to be immune in the first place?
Well,
Right.
we
So they
kind of
said,
got the idea. We kind of
well,
got
they
the
said the
idea.
cordyceps when she was born, right? Then maybe there's a chemical process that prevented her from getting taken over, right? So why can't we reproduce the chemical? Like there's so many other like
But I feel like it
steps.
was because of the whole simultaneously. It was a mere coincidence. A clicker attacked her mom. Like I mean, we're gonna talk about the mom, and this is the next topic, anyways. How the infection, when she got scratched or bit or cut, and at the same time she gave birth. I feel the infection didn't fully transfer over, just a little percentage did, that made Ellie immune. Like I feel like that's
Right.
like the origin story of the first ever immune human.
Right. So the first thing I would do,
Blood test.
no matter how desperate, is to find and understand what happened with
What if
her
they
without
did?
killing her.
What if they did? Because they
No, they
knew
didn't.
about her. They knew about her
No,
since birth.
no. If you knew her about since birth, why did they wait until she get bit in a freaking
Okay.
mall?
Now
Like
she got bit in the
she
mall,
could,
and they
she
held
could.
her, and they did research.
No, because she was in that room. Remember, she was getting tested. They walked in. The lady goes, "Okay, count to 10," right? And then you see the first scene where she flicks the other person off. Like that was a few days after the mall incident. So there's not a real test that was done on it. And so again, it just goes back to like there was for me, from what I know, there was nothing. Like I was like, "Fuck no, you guys are fucking insane."
You feel like they just went to the most drastic action.
Yeah, most drastic action to create a narrative.
Okay,
And to me, this is the same issue.
I can
The
agree with that.
same issue with the game for me. Like, and it's funny because somebody was saying this where if you have the only immune person, like when they found the brother, stay there. We'll protect you. We'll slowly bring in doctors. We'll bring the technology. They have power now. They could generate energy and start doing testing there without killing her. And so we understand. Like not like okay, we we lost her at Boston. We hired somebody outsider to bring her here. She's finally here and whoop, chopping her brain out. Like what? No way. No way. I just don't see
But
that.
I mean, even though I completely agree with you and the whole drastic thing, but when they brought her after Joel was knocked out, we don't know how long he was knocked out for. They could have done some testing, and like maybe they don't have the technology to do the blood work and understand and create a vaccine or something like that. Maybe they already tried those methods and those vaccines didn't work because we need to completely get rid of it from the head and we don't have the root source. And now Ellie's actually presenting, but the only unfortunate thing is the core is here and we need to
Right,
remove the core.
again, if we get to that decision, I really understand it. And again,
But you
going
want
back
to
to the
see it.
worst
You
time,
want to explain. You want the whole
right?
process.
Right, like obviously for a show, it's a little boring, right? Because you want to create a story that's action oriented. But for me, because they didn't provide that for me, like I would have been in Joel's shoes. I was like, "Fuck you
One
guys!" Like
hundred
you
percent.
have, yeah, no evidence. Like more ethically, all I see is rush to judgment, killing innocent person, and for humanity, I can't even tell that it's better for the humanity because there's no evidence that you guys are ready for this kind of advanced surgery, right? Like
What
that's my thing.
What do you think Ellie would have chosen?
if you actually laid out
I
like
think she
okay,
would have chosen to go with it.
yeah, she would probably kind of depending on what information is provided, but like going back to the word scientific, a lot of the scientific studies, right? Show a study, but then you have to have multiple different scientists say yes, we got same inclusive result.
But
Therefore, then
where
it
are you gonna
becomes
find scientists in a post-apocalyptic world? I don't think there's a bunch of scientists that are capable of
that's
surviving zombies.
right. That's no, it's 100% accurate, right? And I think that's kind of like those all those pieces has to go in place before for me to ever say we're gonna kill this girl, because I just don't see it. I like like the idea because what are they proposing? Actually taking her cordyceps out and putting it into other people's brain? Like like bro, yeah, that sounds so safe. Like yeah, like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like so, like that part for me again. Like I was like, yeah, I'll be Joe. I'll fuck you all you guys up because for what I sound, it sounds like you're just trying to kill my dollar. Like what the fuck?
It keeps true to the nature. It keeps true to the character. It keeps true to how it was presented in episode one, and how like if you've been paying attention and watching, this was the only thing Joe would ever do,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
he's been
I
living with
think
that
it.
trauma.
Yeah, yeah, and I think if they actually laid out here, we have this evidence, we yada yada yada, whatever, and Joe still, I think that would have made it more emotional. For example, like it's for me, I just see a shady science lab, just killing a girl later on. Just she was dead. Sorry.
So you know that
Yeah,
Ellie's mom is the original Ellie in the game.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I,
I did.
I, I
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved
yeah.
it. I totally forgot about it, and I thought she did so good. I loved her expression, that little pain, everything, that little moment. Uh, I
I didn't care
really,
for it.
really,
Yeah, I didn't care. It's at that point in the finale, I was like, yo, just show me Ellie Joel. Like I want the freaking
okay, I understand that. In 46 minutes, you just wanted carnage, you
yeah.
wanted more story, and you
Yes,
think, okay,
yeah,
I agree. And that comes back to what my biggest concern was: 46
yeah.
minutes is not enough.
I think, personally, I think part of me, the frustrations were like you were kind of hinting, which lack of the whole infected in previous episode, kind of built up, kind of like, oh, we didn't get any, like, and that kind of like I was like,
But I mean, you said it could be related because of budget. But I mean,
no, 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 no,
this
no.
is a zombie
That's what I
show.
said. That's what Ahmed said, and I said
Yeah.
budget doesn't make sense if it's just one episode at the end of the season. Like it just $1 or $2 more million
Especially
when they spend
a
that much.
46 minutes.
Yeah,
Like I don't
Eh,
understand how this anybody sat there and go, you know what'd be great? You know what the viewers really want? The shortest episode of the season in the finale.
yeah, doesn't even make sense. It just starts on a sour note right off the bat, right? Like and again, this is why I didn't care for the Eddie's Mark. Like I was literally looking at the mirror. It's like, yo, go back to Joe. Like I want to see him just go fucking crazy. Like I want to see Joe from episode one at the end. He goes crazy. Like I was thinking, like he was doing like gonna kill people like more mercilessly with like a blunt weapon instead of actually just and then you know showing rage,
In the
right?
game, he does that.
Well, you play right, like you play kind of, and you have to use all kinds of weapons and stuff like that. I think they toned in that too much of that at the finale. The finale should have been like it's hour and a half. You're building up the whole emotion, like we needed to see Joe really snap,
We
right?
needed to see gore. We needed to see people getting ripped apart. We needed to see us running away. We needed to be scared. There was no. It missed. It missed Moto. It missed. It missed big. I
Yeah,
am very disappointed for you. I'm disappointed for other viewers. I don't care what the IMDb ratings. I don't care what the internet's saying. It missed bad. Okay, it didn't miss bad, but it
yeah, it didn't
missed.
miss that, but
It
it missed.
missed.
Yeah, yeah. As much as we're complaining, I mean, at the end of the day, you still did get Joel, Ellie, their conversation, which is good. And again, it was very similar to the game. The game you get to play through that versus if you're watching it quick,
It was.
no
It was.
brutality.
I'll tell you,
It
it's
just
not similar to the game. In no
yeah,
way, because I was shit scared. Every time I played,
yeah,
I had goosebumps, okay? Every time I played. And even though I'm controlling the story and this is fake, I was scared because you don't know what's gonna pop up. Is a clicker? Is a bloater? Is a zombie? Is a human? You? You need to have that. You need to be able to know, like, look, like, be prepared to counter for any part. It felt too easy. It was like the difficulty mode for
Yeah.
this show was set on cruise control. The story
Yeah,
mode.
super easy. Yeah, super
Yes.
easy. Bloater just one
Uh,
time in the ground, way in the back. That's it. Like I was expecting Bloater in the finale. I don't know how they would pull it out. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the carnage. Like, is Joel gonna have to like drag in like the infected in to help distract and then massacre the few people and like I don't know what I was just trying to think. No, he just walks through,
So
and I was like, oh, okay.
I'm going through your talking points, and I love that how we naturally just covered every single point
Yeah,
without even going through it in order. Except
I mean I think we kind of did. I mean, the only thing we didn't talk about the draft part, but
no, we didn't talk. It's giraffe part was cool and stuff. I mean, another like you
yeah,
said, it just took too much time.
yeah.
I mean, 46 minutes. That's my like. I knew it. I knew it. I hate that I'm right. I hate that I was right, and I really hate that about it because I knew 46 minutes was now going to be justifiable for some because we're One Piece fans and we have a lot of questions, and our questions are justified. Uh, Same reason here too. So the questions we didn't talk about. The Joe lying part, but we both agreed that we would save Ellie. We would do the same exact thing Joel did.
Yeah, especially in that situation. Yeah, it's to me, it's not even a moral decision. Moral decision would still support for me in my breakdown of it.
Yeah,
Like if you make the assumption that they could cure and effectively inoculate all the
I
people,
need data. I
sure.
need data proof.
Yeah, you gotta show me more than, oh, don't worry about it, Joe. Don't worry about it. Are you fucking kidding me? You tried to kill somebody, a little kid. Like,
Yeah,
you better be giving more than, oh, get out of here. Like, what the fuck? And then, like, they make the two guys assholes. By the way, I was like, oh, okay. I think we should kill you. Like, this is a dystopian world. This is not like a noble
yeah.
for me, like, I was like, okay, hurry up and kill these assholes. Like, what the fuck? These come off like cults. Like,
So
they don't come off.
the lying part about Joel, um, I think is justified because at the same way, if Firefly was supposed to present this to Ellie, they also going by a hunch. It could be a lie. It could be like it's more likely a lie because they really have nothing to prove this. So
No.
either way, he did the thing that extends Ellie's life. So was it like
Like from my perspective, that's the thing. Like again, I think that's where, to be honest, in the game and the show, both I think failed to do is I just don't see any case where they legitimately have the cure. So for me, like Joel was legitimate. Well, he did lie, right? He said, "Oh, a bunch of kids are like this."
yeah
And then a lot of what I say is not, all that great because if you have one person, I would protect it with all my heart. Do a non-invasive study to learn, understand, like chemical what triggered it. Even like you said, like if just a tiny amount of cordyceps went into her body, is that the trick? Like, there's so many things you could learn from it. So he did lie that there's a lot of other people like her, which is not true. She's the only one that we know of. Um, so and some lies good, I guess. Obviously, if you lie in a TV show, she's gonna find out. The question, what's that gonna do, right? Um, she wanted a purpose.
season two?
Yeah, and I think that's the.
So what do you expect of season two?
I'm hoping that it is the word budget is the reason why they decided to make this world beautiful and peaceful. you know, I hope to see a lot more clickers and bloaters. Just seeing Joel's adaptability, teaching Ellie to survive in the cruel world. And then I don't know where the story goes because what's the goal now? I'm not sure. I do know a little bit of spoilers, so but I don't want to really talk about that. But yeah, they go back to a very nice place. Like what's next? I guess. Like
Well,
Like I don't know.
I think they hinted that there's gonna be a lot of story that is not told from the game, and it's gonna deviate from the game a little bit for part two. And I
Yeah,
think they're gonna give us the little gap of, and I think they're gonna focus a lot on Joel and Ellie in the beginning of season two. Um, because episode game two is more Ellie driven than is Joel, so it's more
right.
focused on Ellie. So that's what I'm saying. I think we're gonna get a good Pedro Pascal and Bella thing, and it's gonna go like flow into it. We're gonna get new things, but I
I
really
think.
hope. But
Sorry. I want one more thing. It's like I really hope not just the clickers, but they're gonna have to do a better job of introducing characters that isn't designed to be killed off within the episode. Like, I mean, name a show where like multiple season we like a show that introduces new character every episode and kills them off, or they
Akami
disappear
got killed,
for. Their whole crew got shown in the very beginning, though, right?
and eventually, one by one, they all die. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
but eventually, right?
But I mean,
Versus right,
okay, okay, I know what you're saying.
yeah,
Episode
yeah,
one, die. Episode
yeah, and
two,
then the next one,
die.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, okay.
yeah. It's kind of been like that. Obviously, the brother is still there, so he could be one of those targets. But beyond that, like again, I think that's part of the another issue I felt at
I
the
like what you
later
just
part.
said right there. I like what you just said right there. I think if they made each, like the whole David scene, 2 to 3 episodes, it would have been more like you could see the more grooming. You could see the human eating part. You could see
Yeah,
the Ellie trauma. It's you like it could have been milked very nicely.
yeah,
Even though
yeah,
it's a great episode,
uh,
I agree.
yeah.
I think you hit it perfectly. This is why I said it should have been 2 seasons. The first game.
Oh, that was season one, the first game. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Or 12 to 15 episodes at
I think
least.
12 episode would have been probably
One
good,
hour long
especially if you
each
had.
episode.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah. No, yeah.
not some
Not
30 minutes.
processes.
Not 30 minutes.
Yeah,
12 episodes, man. Fuck that shit. This ain't a
yeah.
fucking
Not,
anime.
not the. Yeah. Well, it is. That's a big problem in anime, right? Like the whole 20 minutes thing is like
But now we're getting
cliffhanger.
24 to 26 episodes per season. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of.
But
But
animes have
yeah,
better storytelling.
I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think they're learning a lot from. Like, I see more evolution in anime than I see in a lot of TV shows. Again, the Last of Us, it started out so strong. It had the mix of fear, and different pacing, and it just felt like the last 3 4 episodes, the pacing just kind of. For me, I just copied the recipe from the first 4 episode, 5 episode. Fifth episode was fantastic.
So what is your
And this,
rating?
uh, 7. I would say
Wow,
7,
seven.
and well, my rating is always low, right? Like you can't get 10 in my rating. You could get a 10 in the episode, but you can't get a 10 in the season. Like, probably, I do all the Excel and stuff, right? Like I'll probably, just I don't know. Like the second half really had, like even episode 8. Remember, I was like, I wish we got a little bit more. Like I wanted to see a little bit more. So it was an attempt for me, like, um,
See,
and then set.
I compare a lot of these shows to only one show, and it's very, and you're just like me where we love a good story. We love something
Right.
that you present us with an idea no matter how crazy it looks in the beginning, if you stay towards it and you build on it and you deliver a promising or even decent ending, we're all for it. I agree. Last of Us presented that in the first 4 episodes that this is going to
Five.
be
Five.
first five, but then it
Yeah.
just flatlined and just went. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
only one live action show for me actually presented where mysterious and kept on going, which was Dark, which was obviously Dark, the one from Netflix.
That was weird. Yeah. Yeah. That
But
was a good show.
it was good though. It kept true to
Yeah.
thing. It was
Uh,
weird and
hit,
creepy that Last of Us should have had. It should have had that mysterious feeling that Stranger Things has. Like you can build off on it.
what's Yeah. Stranger Thing is another good one where the pacing is throughout the season is fantastic, and the ending is always it's on the high note.
The
and you're not gonna
ending
like
is
this one.
worth it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then another example before they fucked it up is Game of
One
Thrones,
hundred
right? The first
percent.
couple,
100%.
first season was epic. It's one of the best storytelling I
First
ever seen in my
season.
life.
First
I mean, first,
season.
I'm just saying, like the first season. Remember, I mean, the Baylor, the episode 9, like just mind-boggling, and the character growth and the torture they go through and the evolution they go through, like fantastic. And then they, like I said, like they have so many pieces that you kind of interact and learn. And when one of them die, is like, god damn. Right now, I'm thinking season 2, like only death that I would care about is just two characters, Joel and Ellie. Like, right, like I don't care about other ones. Like that's kind of what I got to with Marlene. Is like, oh yeah, you introduced her at the very beginning for what, 5 minutes in total. Like I didn't care.
There's,
Right
yeah.
when Jeffrey died in Game of Thrones, like yeah, fucking died. You know, like
Joffrey dying was a
oh god,
celebration. That
yeah,
was a
everybody.
celebration because we all wanted that motherfucker to die.
Exactly, right? Like it was such a built up, and there's so many other characters that's, depressing death to, happy death to, but that's because they set it up that way. And Hunter x Hunter is another great example of setup, right? Like the first like literally 3-4 arcs is a setup. Even though they have emotional moments, it's still a setup. And then now you get into later parts and it's payoff is happening. I'm just worried about Last of Us, and for season 2, I think they need to quickly start to introduce characters that we could, get attached or enjoy, and not kill them off on one episode.
I agree. I I think we're pretty good with what we thought about Last of Us, and I think we're satisfied that it was fun, but it
Yes,
wasn't.
it's good season. Good season.
It was
I
an
would
arc.
recommend it to people. Yeah, I'll recommend it to people.
I think it's fair to say, and I think we should end it on that you and I both wanted arcane type material.
Ooh, Arcane. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good
And
story.
and with
Beautiful
that,
payoff.
that's a wrap for today's episode of The Last of Us. Full breakdown by me and Moto. We hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please share your thoughts. Comment below. You can find us at every single social media except TikTok. Our handle is A.S.M Sekai. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving your ratings, review, like, subscribe, share. Let us grow. Help us grow. Uh, Tell us what more content you want us to discuss. And we will love more motor ratings because that's what we look forward to. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll be back with another exciting episodes and most likely focus more towards animes going forward because I don't think there's a next big show coming out anytime soon.
Mandalorian, we gotta watch that one.
Yeah. Until then, keep watching, keep listening, keep enjoying all your favorite anime shows, movies. I am Suhel. Moto.
Bro.
Peace!
Peace out.